Did you fix that where we could hit it? No? Okay. Welcome to the Proving Ground.
It's playing now.
We really need to fix that so that we can hear it when it goes off.
Yeah. Feel ya.
For real. Welcome to the Proving Grounds, the Magic Proving Grounds, the only Magic the Gathering podcast that proves you, yes, you right there, can make resolutions.
Me?
You can make resolutions you won't keep.
Yep.
Well, that's true. I can always do that.
The
I do
fitness.
that. I do that year round. I don't even need New Year's to do that.
Yeah, the fitness industry sure appreciates you.
Yes. I am your host, moderator Dave, and with me we have Ben
Howdy, everybody.
and the other Dave, also known sometimes as Superior Dave.
All right. Yep, that is me.
Yeah.
The
So,
best day sometimes.
Sometimes I do all right for myself,
King of the Daves sometimes.
if you will. Yes.
Well, it's
So,
a fitting one since Goblin King is represented.
yeah, that's your art for today. So what have you guys been doing this week?
I have not been doing terribly much. It's been kind of a busy week in other things.
Yeah, definitely the run up through the new year was busy for everyone. Since our last podcast, one of my dogs had some puppies, so I've been real busy with puppy stuff.
That sounds like a lot.
It is and it isn't, because it's also because you have to know if people know this, but you have to like watch the dog if they've never had puppies before, because sometimes they eat their puppies.
Oh,
Like
yeah, that
there's
happened once with our Rottweiler.
Yeah, so you have to kind of watch them. So we've been like having somebody watch them 24/7, which means I spend a lot of time in the middle of the night sitting in my underwear playing Magic and whatnot. So been actually getting some reps here and there on various things. Played my first game of Commander on MTGO the other day in the middle of the night. It was pretty good. Yeah, I was interested to know how the client works, since you have like the 4 people and stuff, and it works all right.
Yeah, is it like one on each side of the square, the screen? Or
How it works is that you have your play board, and it's pretty similar to how it is in a 1v1, but the top half of the screen is all the other players' game board. So you have up to 3 players that are just like squares. So being able to zoom in on cards and stuff is important in that particular situation.
Yeah, I imagined it would be like a square, like you're sitting around a square table, but I guess that would be hard for it to actually manage.
Yeah. The spreadsheet interface can't handle what you would need to like rotate people around so you could see stuff and who's active and stuff, but it would be nice.
So can you like, I would worry it, like, I haven't done it, but does it make it, can you zoom in, or does it make it too small? Or my concern is that having 3 people would be kind of small.
You can zoom in the same basic ways you do in a 1v1 game with the card display window, and then if you hit, I believe it's Q, it'll zoom in a la arena style as well, so you could read the cards and stuff.
That's neat.
Yep, not too bad. Didn't win my first game, but I was second to last man standing, so
that's almost a win. That's like a win in Commander, right?
That's second place. Yeah, sure. With the Arcades wall deck that I've been talking up on and off since the podcast started.
Oh yeah.
Didn't put it together in paper, but I've been playing it on MTGO. So that's good enough.
So is it like a battle royale where you just like drop if you lose, or can you stick around? Like, obviously you can probably stick around and see who wins, right?
Yeah, you probably can, but most people just like
scoop.
Well, scoop or just log out and then half the timeout that happened in at least one of the games that
Ooh,
I played, which
don't
is
do that,
real,
people. Don't do that. That's really
yeah,
that's really scum.
that's salty behavior.
I guess to be fair, they might not know that it messes the rest of everything up.
Mhm. Well, I'm sure if you've played, let's see, 2 games I played with, and then that happened. So if you've played at least a few handfuls of games, that's probably happened to you. I'm going to venture a guess, so you know now, kind of thing.
Mm.
So what's other Dave been up to?
A whole lot of nothing.
Mm.
I'm still recovering from the holidays,
Oh,
Yeah.
and the extra work that I had to do because of my real job. Someone else had to take some time off. I had to cover.
right on.
They're still not. I'm still covering a lot. So mostly, the off time that I do have is spent in recovery. Me just relaxing as much as possible.
Meditating.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I do meditate. Surprisingly, I
Yeah. It's very healthy for you.
Yeah,
yeah,
clears
try
your mind.
try to get a couple 30-minute to an hour sessions in each week.
Nice. I did not know that about you. I'm learning new things about you every
I,
day.
I'm pretty sure anyone who knew me from the time period that you knew me from would not
Would not guess
would
that.
not would not predict that sort of behavior out of me.
Yes. So yeah, so not a lot of Magic playing. That's fine. Everybody has their lulls. It's all good. Um, I guess one more thing before we move on, because I've been pretty busy. I put together the Mono Green Devotion deck in Explorer after finally picking up the anthology pack. That
Mm.
deck hits. I like it. Um, it plays real good. It's fun. The list I pulled and everything doesn't have a complete best of 3 sideboard with it, so I have to go and put together the rest of the sideboard so I can do best of 3. But it hits pretty hard in best of 1. No complaints
I've
there.
I've been debating building an explorer list. I just haven't gotten around to actually doing it yet.
Yeah, I like the format on Arena. It's probably the best one in my opinion.
It's
Feel like
alchemy.
yeah,
Everybody loves alchemy.
no,
I'm excited for Explorer to become actual Pioneer.
same.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Pioneer will become more popular once it is on Arena.
I'm sure it will, because everybody hates alchemy, so nobody's going to be hitting uh historic real hard. So they
I
want to
don't.
play a
I don't.
non-rotating format. It's going
I
to be
wish.
Pioneer.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know why everybody hates on alchemy. It's my favorite format. I feel about alchemy the way Ben feels about Pioneer.
yeah,
I don't.
yeah, you're like the one alchemy guy.
Yeah,
I
I'm
am.
all about alchemy. I love it.
I'm meh on it. I don't hate it, but it's just like meh. I don't like.
I just think it's where Magic should be trying to go anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which I understand, like the card game cannot accommodate the alchemy cards, but like if you're gonna have this digital environment that can do all of these different things, why limit yourself to what the physical cards can do?
Yeah, I do not disagree with you. We can go on this forever, but let's move on to our
No,
first
I want to
new
go on with
segment.
this forever. I'm not ready to stop.
We've been doing this for 10 minutes. I think it's time to move on.
All right, all right.
So let's tap in to the Magic Discord this week and talk about talk about a subject that may contain some hot takes. I don't know. Maybe your takes are hot. Maybe they're lukewarm. I don't know. But how do you all feel about leaks? There's been some leaks for the upcoming All Will Be One set, and everybody seems to have an opinion on it. So I'm wondering what y'all's opinion is
So I
on
haven't been
said.
Well, I,
haven't been tapped into Twitter, so I don't know what their opinion on it is. I mean, I'm guessing negative because that's how they lean normally.
Well, he didn't ask you for Twitter's opinion.
No. I'm getting to mine. So like, I don't want to hear what Twitter says until I give my opinion on leaks. I guess is what I'm saying.
So I just want to get out real quick and say I'm a big fan of the QAnon leaks.
I watched that
God.
documentary on Netflix.
Yeah.
Fascinating
Carlo,
stuff.
Carlo sent me a link.
Mhm.
Please
so-
explain to everybody that you're joking.
Satire. There's a fine line.
Oh, come on. We need to have a political debate. We can't all be on the same side.
So
That is what we're talking about, right?
No, we're talking about Magic the Gathering.
Oh, Magic the Gathering leaks. My bad.
yeah, the only
Yeah.
politics and
Okay.
magic exist in like the Ravnica plane or whatever.
Sure.
I don't know. I wish that was true.
Yeah.
Everything's politics technically.
The last time that I played in-person Magic, I ended up listening to people talk about politics for like an hour and a half, and I was like, I'm just here to play Magic.
Why can't they do what everybody used to do and just talk about wrestling?
Yeah. Can we go back to talking about The Rock?
Yeah. Okay, so as far as leaks, I think that leaks are an important aspect of the hype cycle. The problem with today's leaks are that you're not really sure about the validity. Before Elish Norn was previewed or whatever, I saw probably like 3 different leaks of this thing, and all of them were fake, you know. So that's the only part where leaks get really sketchy, is when people are just trying to build their social clout, so they make something up. But I don't mind leaks in general. The true ones.
I'm not a fan of any of them. Because I think that it takes agency away from the way that these cards are meant to be presented to us. You know, like the cards aren't meant to be presented from some shitty phone picture from some dude who apparently still has a flip phone based on the fucking. I should stop cussing. I'm sorry,
I
but
don't-
based on like how pixely these pictures of these leaks show up, I'm like, what? Are you still using a razor? Where did?
It's
all they can smuggle in.
Here's my theory. The leaker is clearly Bigfoot, because obviously Bigfoot has a photography or that keeps you from getting a clear photo, and that probably affects, you know, anything in his proximity. So he's sitting there trying to take a great picture, and he can't because, you know,
his
blurry
fur
photos.
keeps getting in the way.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, but I feel like it takes agency away from, like, okay, like say you're a streamer, right?
Mhm.
And Magic is like, hey, you're the one who's gonna preview this card, and then someone leaks it.
Yeah, that would suck.
It takes agency away from Wizards and how they want to present this information to you and how they want to show it to you. And it puts it in the hands of some guy I don't know. I don't know if it's legitimate or not. And I feel like it also it puts into question so many cards that
Mhm.
you feel like you can't trust anything until it comes from a Wizard source. And so, like, even when you're a streamer now and you have permission and they're like, yes, please show this card off on your stream, you're like, oh, is this guy just making it up for clout?
Right.
Like, unless it's a trusted source, you know,
Yeah.
unless it's Reed Duke.
Yeah, or
Mm.
Spike or one of the
Yeah.
other ones.
Um,
Mingu.
I just feel like it makes the whole thing a mess, and I don't need information that desperately that I need some dude to put it out 3 days before Wizards plan on putting it out from their fucking shitty Nokia brick phone that has a camera on it.
I agree with you on that. I do.
Yeah. I agree with you too, other Dave, that is definitely a downside of leaks. I personally, if I come across a leak, I'm not gonna share it just because I can't like be bothered. It's like I've seen cruising Reddit like 2 or 3 leaks, and I'm just like, eh.
I
Like
don't
Yeah.
share anything, so
So, so you said that you agree
Mhm.
about the downside. So what would you say are the upsides of leaks?
I don't know if there are any. I mean, yeah, it um I can't think of any other than if you're a competitive player and you choose and you get a slight edge from knowing these things ahead of every other people, like you know, they drop a rare that's like busted, and then you can formulate
and
a
then
deck list around that, and
and
then get the heads up on some people.
And
and then you
that's
Maybe
even
spend
I would not say that that's a good thing overall.
no.
no, I mean that's a good thing for you as an individual person, but bad overall for everyone else.
And then you spend all that time thinking about brews or whatever you're going to do with it,
Hmm.
and then it turns out to not be true. So you
Yeah,
stop doing that
yeah,
because I'm
yeah.
I guess the reason I said that leaks, I don't mind them, I guess, is, and they're an important part of the hype cycle, I guess, is maybe I look at it differently than other people, because when somebody leaks something, I never take it as truth. You know, I
Mm.
always am just like, oh, that's a cool possibility. And then it makes me excited to see what the new Elish Norn or whatever is actually going to be. So it kind of keeps my interest a little bit. But
Yeah.
overall, I mean, it would be really annoying if that scenario existed where you were supposed to preview a card and somebody else leaked it. I mean,
Yeah.
let's say other media avenues like movies or whatever, like it would be really bad for business if people were going around leaking your sequel to a long awaited movie or something you've been working on for really, like, I don't think there's any value in anything like this. I think it's a separate case for the nature of Magic as a whole, you know, that leaking is not as detrimental. I don't want to
I,
say that. I want to say, I guess it's not. Hmm.
I also feel like in this particular cycle, um, the leaks are even more hazardous because they are story relevant also. So for the
Mm.
people who care about lore, like
Yeah,
knowing which planeswalkers are completed is going to drastically change the way that you read the story.
that's true.
Mm.
Which I haven't finished the Brothers War yet, because, oh boy,
It's beefy.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
I I don't
I
know.
just finished it over the weekend. Um, yeah,
I
those
know.
are long.
Yeah, and they're a little bit dry. I'm not saying they're bad. They're just a little dry. I don't
Mm.
They
know.
get better.
Yeah,
They start off a little dry. They do get better though.
yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I understand that people feel that way about spoilers. I've never been that type of story spoilers. That is, I've never been that type of person. I found out the N2 Fight Club, the book, like before I even read it, and I just read it, and I'm like, oh yeah, that did happen. I kind of forgot that that was the thing.
Mm.
So I don't know. I'm special, and that's why I'm special. I'm different
We
in that regard. I
we
don't know if you
had
want to say
two,
special.
or I guess
But
maybe I had two friends who didn't talk to each other for like 6 months because they spoiled the end of the first season of The Walking Dead.
oh
The
my goodness.
first season.
Yeah.
Fun.
So what happened is he got him the first season as a Christmas present, like on DVD, and then he said something about it
He
as he
immediately
was giving
spoiled
it to him.
it.
Yeah. And he was like, "Well, it says it on the DVD. Like it says it on the cover of the DVD, so I didn't think he would be upset about it."
That's
That's so
hilarious.
funny. Here's his present. This is how it ends.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oof. So I guess that's why I'm so meh about spoilers. I think that it would be better off if people didn't do that, but off like I don't know. I like come back to me when I get a card that I'm going to be presenting on stream and it gets spoiled, and I'll probably be salty about it too. So, you know,
hmm.
to each their own.
Yeah.
So have we experienced enough hot takes today? Should we move on?
Sure.
Sure. So, new year. That means the
New you.
customary. Yeah, new me, new you, new us. Uh, the
I
custom
shed
of
out of my husk about an hour ago.
You got
Still laying
just
on my living room floor.
snakeskin laying there.
Yeah.
hang it up in your house like they do with the full body tattoos that you can get
The,
after in Japan they do a thing like if you have a whole body tattoo, then after you die they skin you and then hang it up on your like frame it so that your whole body art can be presented like as a wall hanging.
I
You hang
had
it
no
up.
idea that was a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. Anyways, I
Mm.
made things a little weird. I'm sorry. We should probably move on.
No, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to look that up later.
Yeah, dude, it's kind of cool.
I am definitely intrigued.
Yeah, if I had a full
They
body
should do that for me with no tattoos. I just want someone to skin me when I'm dead.
I'm gonna be made into a tree personally, but that's just me.
Is that real or are you just saying that?
No, that's real.
Yeah.
Preferably a fruit-bearing tree. That way I can give back in death.
Are
But
you gonna be in a public place or are you gonna be like on your property somewhere so your great grandkids can eat your fruit one day?
it's probably on a private property kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just because
Yeah.
it's a lot easier to do. Like,
You're gonna give your great grandkids your seed, so to speak.
no. Let's stop there. Let's move on. You've made this weirder than I did. So, New Year's resolutions, we're gonna make them. They're gonna be magic related or not, and depending on how you guys feel. But we just go down the. I do one, you guys do yours, and then we'll go. I think we have at least each got three,
I think
right?
we each have three. Exactly.
Yeah, we put the requisite amount of flair into the document.
Yes.
We didn't
Awesome.
put more flair.
We treated it exactly like a high school homework assignment.
Yep.
We did the bare minimum to get a passing grade.
Y'all are a bunch of slackers, but also I am too. So, so I'll
We
just
were
do
like
my
counting
first
our
one.
words. Remember, like gotta have
Yeah,
a
yeah.
1,000 word paper, and I'm like, it's exactly 1,000 words.
Oh, and when you used to turn in actual paper to them, they'd be like double spaced, and you'd be like 2.25 and hope they don't notice. 12-point
Exactly.
font, you're like scooching it up to 13, 14. How much can you get away with? Those were the
Before
days.
they notice.
Now you have to send them a document, and now they know immediately.
Yeah.
Gone were the days. Okay, so my first New Year's resolution is should be no surprise, I don't think. I want to play more Commander. I liked playing on MTGO. I think that's going to be a great outlet for playing for me. And also included in this resolution is I actually am going to sit down and build a deck from scratch in paper. I haven't done that since I built my kid's dinosaur commander deck like a couple of years ago. So
Is Itali the Primal Storm the commander? Actually, it would limit
no,
your choices, huh?
yeah, it's the Naya. What's his name? Gestalt. The one that where when you attack, you do damage, and then you draw cards off the top of your deck and put all the dinosaurs you draw in play.
Oh.
That one, it's actually kind of wicked once it gets going. So
Cool.
yeah. Luckily, his power is controlled a little bit by a terrible mana base, so it takes him a while to get going. So
There's a way you can fix that with about $3,000.
oh man, I put together as part of my plan to take Commander seriously, like a list of cards I'd want in every Esper style Commander deck.
Oh, yeah.
The lands says that you don't have land that come in tapped and stuff, like the non-basic lands, and it's like $126 for I think it was 17 land total. That's just the the Esper base. That's not including like utility lands or um, uh, basic lands. Just the dual lands and the triome
Yeah.
and whatnot. So it's like 17 cards total. You need about roughly between 30 and 40, depending on what deck you want for like a commander. So,
Hmm.
anyways, like 120, that's like the waste, the Adarka wastes, and the
The
uh, the pain lands in those colors, and then the Rafine's Tower, the shock lands, that kind of stuff.
mm-hmm.
The battle bond lands. Um, yeah. Anyways, it gets spendy.
Yep,
That's
lands are expensive.
120 some odd dollars just on mana base for a commander deck's a bit much, but the three color decks are obviously a lot more
You mean you didn't
I
put like
intensive.
Taiga in there?
I thought about it, but that's only an option on MTGO, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'd kind of like to be able to
Where it's like
use
$4
these.
or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, I'd like to be able to have the option to use these decks as brewed in paper if I ever wanted to pull the trigger.
Oh, it's an option. You just need to sell one of your kidneys.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were gonna say kids and be like, oh, whoa, I do have enough, but I'd like to keep them.
I mean, I guess that's an option too, but it wasn't where I was gonna go.
So what's your New Year's resolution there, Ben?
I guess all last year I talked about all like, hey, I want to go to that convention. I want to go to that convention. So I think I need to go to one finally and stop just saying that I'm gonna go to one. That's that.
Yeah,
That's what I would like to do this year.
sounds like fun. We should team up and make a day of it.
Yeah, and I maybe would play some Commander while I'm there just to get that experience.
I,
You know, they have all
been trying
Commander
to get
pods and everything set up
yeah,
everywhere.
been trying to get y'all both to play some Commander, and you seem utterly uninterested, which is fine. Man, yeah. So I get it.
Yep, that's simple. That's the easy one.
I remember when Commander was first getting started and being like, that sounds like the way I never want to play Magic.
Yeah.
Um,
And ever since then, it has continued to be just that.
I mean, it's continued to grow, so like it must be doing something right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm not angry at it or anything. It's just like,
Yeah.
everything about it sounds like the exact opposite of the way that I like to play Magic.
Yes. Everybody plays Magic differently. Some people play Modern. Ben plays Pioneer. Just him. He's the only one.
Yeah.
And
And it's just me playing Alchemy.
yeah, it's
Wow.
just Dave over there playing Alchemy. So I get it. What is your New Year's resolution, other Dave?
So my first New Year's resolution is actually to play less Magic and to stop worrying so much about like battle passes and events and stuff like that. So I always feel like, oh, I'm gonna miss out. I gotta finish the battle pass. I gotta do this, and so like I feel like I'm forcing myself to play Magic, and that is lessening my enjoyment of it.
I
Um,
feel I feel like I've heard a similar story from Ben in regards to Fortnite battle passes.
Yeah, it's a carrot, all right.
yeah,
It's
and so I kind of just want to like step back and just play Magic when I want to, and enjoy the act of playing Magic rather than feeling like it's a chore.
yep. I
Yeah,
feel
chasing that carrot. You're like, I'm leaving value on the table.
Yeah.
So you
that's
feel
Yeah.
like you have to push yourself to do it, which then causes some
Yep.
discourse, I
Yep.
suppose, yeah. Or could lead to.
Yeah. I get that. Man, was it time before last? Not Dominator United, but the pass before that I bought, and then I was like, I gotta go, I gotta make it, and then after that I was like, eh, I didn't really get anything after the 50 that I could do without. Couldn't do without.
Yeah, I came to the realization on Saturday because I was watching the football games and I was like, oh yeah, right. I have done like a daily each day, so
Mhm.
like my dailies were reset, but I hadn't been winning that many matches, and I was like, shit, I got to get on there and wrap up my 15 wins for the week. And I logged in, I had 6 wins so far, and I was like, I am not sitting here and playing enough of this to rack up 9 wins in the next 6 hours while
Yeah,
I'm also watching football. And I
that's
was just like, I
brutal.
just need to stop doing this, worrying about it.
Yep, I feel you. I think that's a good resolution. My next one kind of dovetails real nice with Ben's last one, and that's playing a tournament. So
Yeah.
maybe we can do a tournament at a convention, uh, do some play testing and stuff for one of those, and then go.
Yeah,
And
I think if I went to a tournament or a convention, I would play in the tournament that's at the convention. I think that's
yeah,
part of the.
I always feel like if you go to those things, you have to play in the main tournament. At
Yeah,
least
yeah.
start in it
mm,
and see what happens. Like
O2 scoop.
I have never went to one and not at least started in the main tournament. Now, there have been a few times where like I'd lose two in my first two, and I'm like, okay, well, we can go check out other things now.
it's
Um,
time to hit up the commander pods.
Yeah.
Now, when you say play in a tournament, are you saying like strictly a paper Magic tournament?
No, not necessarily. Although if you're gonna go to a con anyways, you might as well go play in a tournament. But
Right,
there
but
are
in terms of your specifically play in a tournament
yeah,
resolution, could that be an MTGO tournament, an
yeah,
MTGA tournament?
yeah. Well,
Okay.
yeah. I was thinking about Mana Traders has their monthly tournament thing that they do. I was thinking about looking into that, or there are people who do online tournaments everywhere,
Yeah,
from like spell table games to stuff on Arena to stuff on MTGO, just like third party stuff. So something like that is an
I said
acceptable.
So
Uh,
something bigger than Friday Night Magic.
yeah,
Okay.
something a little bigger than that. Yeah.
yeah, I'm in a group on Facebook that does a an arena tournament every month, and I always debate joining it, but I never do.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that would definitely fulfill said goal of mine to compete in that kind of style of tournament. What's your next goal there, Ben?
Um,
Or
Mine is to win a 1K or above tournament in paper. It's a very lofty goal, but this year I'm going to focus on becoming a better Magic player overall. I think I mean, I'm not the greatest at by any means, and I'm probably not the 1K tournament at this point level of play, but I think I'm a pretty smart, decent Magic player.
When you
So
say 1K tournament, are you talking about the participation level or the prize level?
the prize level. Um,
Okay.
so you like it's the prize pool is 1K or above total. That's then
Mhm.
split between the winners. So
Right. Yeah, I just wasn't sure if you were talking about cash prizes or the amount of people that were at the
and the
tournament.
only reason I say I don't care about necessarily winning the money, but being a 1K or above tournament like kind of sets a power level to it,
Mhm.
and that's the
Hmm.
important part is that I win power
Yeah,
level that high,
yeah,
at that mark.
a tournament that has stakes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Better start getting your practice in now.
Oh yeah, like the big thing about winning like a tournament at that level is like really knowing the meta for um the format that you're playing. So it'd either be Pioneer or Modern. I don't know that I'm interested in doing a standard tournament like that, but
Yeah,
you really gotta focus on the meta game and the interactions and build your deck based on the meta kind of thing.
right.
Make smart choices.
When that was my drive, in the 2006s, 2007s, um, tournament prep was a lot. It was like a full time job.
Mm-hmm.
It was 40 hours a week, probably, if not more, of me
Oof.
playing my deck against other people who piloted other decks in the meta and making like one or two small changes in my deck and playing another 10, 20 matches and seeing how it played out.
Yep, that's
Like,
exactly right.
and it's exhausting, I can tell you that. And you need to have at least one other willing participant. Ideally, you want to have like 4 or 5 though.
Yeah.
because you want people who also play that deck, whatever deck it is you're playing against in the meta.
Yep.
You don't just want to like hand the deck over to someone else and be like, "Hey, pilot this for me so I can play against it," because you want the person you're playing against to know that deck inside
Exactly.
and out too.
Yep. And then the post match discussion is so important on that too, because like
Yeah.
you can get a lot of the practice on MTGO, but being able to talk things through
Yeah,
with
you-
a person is invaluable.
You really got to find a group of people for it. 'Cause we had a group of like 6 who were really into it. But you have to have that group because you have to have, or ideally, you want to have again pilots who have been piloting that deck for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Just do it.
You don't just want me to show up and then you hand me fucking blue white control and say, "Hey, pilot this against me so I can see how I play against it," and me be like, "What? I've never even seen
Yeah.
this deck before."
Right.
Because then you're going to need to play at least 10 games to even understand the ins and outs of the deck smoothly.
But
Yeah.
I mean, even ideally, like I would want 40 matches under my belt before I felt comfortable taking a deck to a
Yeah.
tournament, and
Yeah.
that's the level that you want to be playing against.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
like 40 matches, and then maybe you would feel comfortable playing against me and getting a real feel for how you play against the deck.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. That's a lot of work. I hope you meet your goal this year, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's the lofty one.
I'd say. What's your goal there, other Dave?
I mean, my best finish doing that was 9th place,
Hmm.
where top 8 got a prize. So I was like,
Mm.
I was right there.
So
It was
close.
a 442 person tournament.
Jeez.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a
Ninth place
PTQ. It was
ain't
the
bad.
Kentucky PTQ.
Eh.
Oh, all the way in Kentucky, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, because that's we used to go to the Kentucky, the Columbus, and the one in Indiana.
Mm. A real tri-state champion there, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, my next resolution is that I want to go back and read all the books that I missed because and all the lore that I missed. Because when I fell off in the Mirrodin block and I didn't come back for a while, I had just kind of given up on the lore.
Yeah.
But now that the lore is getting more and more interesting, I kind of want to go back and fill in those gaps that I have, the parts of it that I don't understand or know about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'd like to do that too. I'm not piggybacking on yours by any means, but like when everybody are like, "Man, Johnny, he's completed. That's so sad." I'm like, I have no affinity for Johnny at all because he didn't exist when I stopped listening to the
Right.
lore, paying attention to it. And that kind of sucks because I'm the type of guy that would really be like hit by that kind of stuff, but since I didn't really go through it. So now it's going to suck when I go back and I'm like, "Hey, Mr. Johnny, who are you?" I know what happens. So it's going to be kind of like, eh. But also good luck on the Ravnica block, reading those 3 books. I'm trying right now. It's really hard.
That's the next block, isn't it? Because I just finished the Fifth Dawn book.
Oh, Kamigawa.
Oh yeah, Kamigawa was.
Yeah,
okay.
that one's pretty good.
was sweet, actually. I'd recommend that cycle.
So,
Good stuff.
yeah.
Speaking of,
but yeah, also like speaking of a Johnny, like the little things that I noticed, even though a Johnny came out during the period I missed as well.
Yeah.
But there are just little pieces of lore that I had picked up. So like when I saw that lightning helix in the movie or the preview for Brothers War, I was like, oh, he's using lightning helix again. I know there was some reason he stopped using it, but I don't know the exact reason. That was like, oh yeah, I really need to go back and figure out what these things are.
Yeah. Speaking of a Johnny, I got to tell a story because I think it's absolutely freaking hilarious. So he was introduced as a planeswalker during the period of time I wasn't playing Magic as well, and then I come back to play Magic and I'm listening to, I don't remember what podcast, but they keep talking about a Johnny. Me and my brain is thinking about Johnny combo player, the psychographic card, right? And I'm like, why are they keep talking about this Johnny fella? Why is he important? It seems weird because they were like a Johnny, and I'm like, okay. It took me, I don't know how long for it to click and be like, oh, that planeswalker. Okay, it's a character.
I thought you would think it was Yanni.
Yeah. So
At least you were one step above that.
just a little bit, but yeah. I have a lot of the books up until I think right after the. Well, I have all like practically all the books from the Thran to a little bit after the first Ravnica cycle because that cycle was a hard read, man.
Mm.
Like Ben was saying, I read the first half of the first one and I was like, I can't do it, I'm done, and then I kept collecting them just to do it for a little bit
Yeah, they used to come in fat
after
packs,
that.
which were awesome.
Yeah, it really pained me when I came back and found out they didn't put books in fat packs anymore. It's like, son of a bitch.
Or they didn't even make books anymore. That's this part that sucks.
Yeah.
Part of me wants to get like good at writing and be like, "Hey, Wizards, let me write a novel for you, so you can keep doing that. You know, get that back going."
Yeah.
But,
They let the guy who created Gargoyles write a book, so like random fanfic writers probably right below that, based on how
There you go.
the Ravnica book that they put out during the War of the Spark actually turned out.
Yeah. All right.
People did not like it. Anyways, my last and final resolution for the year is not really Magic related, but I'm gonna throw it out there because Netrunner's a really fun game, and while I've been up all night watching my puppies, um, I was able to like get into the swing of that game and actually really figure out how to play it, and I'm like sold. It's a fantastic game. I recommend anybody check it out. But I'd like to play more Netrunner in the following year, so that's what I'm going to be doing.
Nice.
Yep.
I'd say it's Magic adjacent.
Yeah. Like technically, completely Magic adjacent since Richard Garfield made the first iteration of Android Netrunner, so
Yeah, that's true.
it's very Magic adjacent. What's your final resolution there? Oh, go ahead.
I'd say I also have been thinking about getting into just something other than Magic, just so that another way to prevent me from getting kind of burnt out on Magic or like feeling that I don't know how to the apathy towards Magic to kind of curb that a little bit more.
Yeah, nice to
Um,
step outside your comfort zone and try something new.
yeah, I just haven't found. I haven't checked out Netrunner yet, so maybe I should do that. I also really
Definitely should.
I really enjoyed Legends of Runeterra when I played it too. So I was thinking about going back to that also.
Right. I've heard good things about that game. So
I mean, it's free to play. So
yeah,
you want to check it out.
so
It's
is
there.
Netrunner. So sold.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so my last one is to play more MTGO over Arena. Here recently, I've been trying to get more into MTGO, but then I kind of just keep going back to Arena more because it's the easy thing. You know, it's like you can
Because
play it.
MTGO sucks.
The client is not. The client is very inferior to Arena. But as I stated before, I kind of want to become a better Magic player overall, and there's some trends and things that I kind of notice in Arena that are maybe less conducive to becoming better Magic player, I guess. Whereas MTGO seems to support that a little bit better. For example, I have the big one is that you have a wider base of cards to pick from. So like when you're adjusting decks or trying different decks and stuff like that, it's a lot easier on MTGO with, you know, the subscriptions and stuff to just swap out a deck. Like if you want to know the meta, the best way to do that is to play the meta. And on Arena, you'd spend thousands and thousands of dollars getting all of the cards to do that, you know. Whereas on MTGO, it's like a flat rate per month for cards. So and then you can just swap out, a deck as you learn, rather than have to spend the wild cards on it. So that's one big reason for that. There's some other stuff that I don't know. It's my opinion, so I know people love Arena, and I like Arena. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like the meta in Arena is more focused. Like it's a different carrot, right?
Right.
For
well,
example,
climbing the ladder favors decks that are going to win you matches quicker.
correct. Yeah, quicker is the key there. I feel like it's a different carrot on a stick. So in MTGO, when you enter a league, you have like more stakes, right? Like it's not I'm gonna drop 1 or 2 ranks if I lose this match. It's I put money in here, and the money part sucks, but I feel like that people actually like try their all, and the buy-in. So you
So
build.
have you tried any of the buy-in tournaments in Arena to see if that is also true in those?
No, I have not. So, but they don't come around as often. It's not like I can just sit there and
Yeah, you
do 'em
can.
every single time.
I mean,
They're
they
always
have
live.
standard tournaments all the time that
Yeah.
the prizes are
There's,
like gems and
yeah.
packs.
Oh,
If you go to
Now
play
the
and
ones
then-
with like big cash prizes, no, they don't have those all the time. They have
No.
them
Oh,
like
okay.
every 2
This
3
is-
months.
yeah, but there's always a tournament running where you can join it, and then if you win X amount of games before you lose 3,
then you can
you
make
get-
your
you-
bank
you
back
make your
and
bank back,
Yeah.
recur
and
your
then they-
stuff. Okay.
then
Yeah,
they
those
have-
are running pretty much all the time.
Yeah, all the time. You just have to go to play and then filter to the flag tab and then filter for constructed, and then
Yeah.
all that shit will pop up. They don't it's not well communicated through the client where that stuff
I
is.
guess not. So yeah, and the other problem is that they don't have all the Pioneer cards on there. So
Mhm.
because I'm not looking to really do Pioneer or standard tournaments in the same way, so
Mhm.
I would need to do MTGO.
Well,
Yeah, so I guess maybe that's the solution if I want to get. I don't want to say like it's degenerative, but like say I tried to play Explorer on Arena to like do that, and it was just like Rakdos mirrors the whole time. I purchased the Rakdos deck on there, and I'm like, okay, I want to play this deck, and then it was just like Rakdos mirror, Rakdos mirror, Rakdos mirror, green mono green mirror. It seems like it's less of a variety because like the ladder is that, right? The best decks are going to be on the ladder, so if you're playing the best deck, you're going to get a lot of mirror stuff high in the higher aspects of the ladder. So it's like I feel like the gameplay is a little more varied on MTGO in that aspect, but again, maybe if I did the play-in tournaments or not the play-in tournaments, or the buy, like whatever you guys are describing, it might be different. Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, but
Maybe. I've done like 1 or 2 of those in the past and have sufficiently got my shit wrecked, so I don't do them very often
yeah,
because nobody likes taking the L 3 times in a row and then losing all your gold. A little rough.
yeah. So that's it. That's my final resolution
That's your final resolution.
for the podcast.
Sounds good. I just read your final resolution here, other Dave, in the notes to enlighten everybody as to what it is.
Yeah, my final resolution is to be the exact opposite of Ben this year.
Hey, it looks like you're already there. You're gonna play more Arena. You're
So
gonna play
and what
more
I mean by
Alchemy.
that, what I mean by that is I want to be good at Magic, not bad at it. No,
Aw.
Oh,
I'm,
got a roast.
I really mean what you were implying, which is I want to play less Magic. I want to make sure that I don't get consumed back into that loop of like feeling like I need to be competitive.
Yeah.
I want to avoid that because it took the enjoyment of Magic away from me. And I also want to avoid conventions because I just don't like people.
Fair.
Yeah.
Hey.
And so like all of your resolutions, I want to do the exact opposite of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
Nice.
Okay, so let's move on to predictions for 2023. This is Magic related and any adjacent thing, so story related, the company sets, you know.
Oh, these were supposed to be Magic related, so I was not supposed to predict that Trump will be president next year.
God, I do not want to live in that timeline. I hope that's not true. Anyways, so let's go. Let's start from the bottom of the list this time and then move up so that it doesn't look like I am a narcissist.
Oh, it already looks like that.
Oh dear.
Oh, do you want me to start first or Superior
Yeah,
Dave?
go first and then Superior Dave and then I'll go last.
Um, my predict there will be a new way to spend money / resources on Arena. Um, Similar to how they added the wild cards, they'll add a new mode of either. I'm not going to predict whether or not I'm going to leave it a little vague, whether it's like spend actual money or like I wouldn't rule out like a card dusting thing, which I don't think is going to happen, but maybe there might be a something that they do to. I think this is the year that the Wizard starts paying attention to all the discourse, I guess, and this is one thing that they'll do.
They're gonna add a premium tier. A premium tier is gonna allow you to have access to dusting.
Yeah, something like that. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, it'll be something that they do on Arena.
If you pay $9.99 a month, you can dust your cards. Otherwise, fuck you.
Big oof dog. I was gonna go with arena codes and booster packs a la Pokemon.
I'm really surprised that's not already a more prevalent thing.
Man,
Oh,
I
it
would be
should
buying
be.
so
It
many
should
booster
be.
packs
I know,
if
me
it
too.
was the case.
And I play
You
more
know,
Arena.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I've given Arena $20 in the last, I don't know, long time. I can't even remember the last time. I could look it up on PayPal, but you get the point. It's been a while. Whereas I also don't buy a lot of paper cards, so they're not getting a bunch of money out of me. Whereas if they put codes in paper cards, I'd be buying them by the box.
I have literally only bought that the $5 pack that like you could pre-order if you were playing the beta of the game.
Nice.
Um, and I have made my gyms by drafting, and that's
Yeah,
how I pay for my battle pass.
nice.
Nice.
I wish I could say that.
Yeah, I wish I was good at drafting.
I'm too
Well,
frenetic with it. I can't stick to one deck, and I have to like wild
it's
cards. I'm like,
also kind
it's
of
gems.
the antithesis of how I want to do it this year, though. So maybe they'll get some money out of me this year. I don't know. We'll see. Where I'll be like, you know what? Rather than like forcing myself to play Magic when I don't really feel like it, I'll just put the $20.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's where
that's
they get
fair.
you.
That's legitimate, man. As long as you're having fun,
Right.
uh,
But we'll see, because I also have a pretty solid stash of gems from drafting. I think I'm somewhere in the 8 or 9K range, so I might even be pretty close to
Lord.
getting able to get all the battle passes without doing anything.
That's
Or
impressive.
maybe I just won't get the battle passes anymore. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also a great way to save money, save gems, if you will, and time. So what's your prediction for next year? Other
Uh,
day.
so so I'm gonna predict some returning mechanics. I think Adventures is gonna return. I think we're gonna see Metalcraft again, and I think we're gonna see Entwine again.
Yeah, Entwine. It's been a
Um,
while.
That has been a while.
Let me
I
ask
would
you
not
about
give
your
that.
prediction on Adventures. Do you think that it will be in the same way? Meaning,
yeah.
like, Adventures were super powerful. Do
hmm
you think that, how they made, so, like, they made colored artifacts to make them less powerful? Do you think they'll do something to that mechanic that kind of helps power it down a little bit?
Uh,
Or it will return just whole cloth like it was?
so
I'm
I think it was such a popular mechanic that they will feel like they have to return to it in Eldraine. I also think they feel like they need to make it weaker, and I feel like it might ruin the adventure mechanic.
Hmm.
Um,
How about enemy color adventure? So if you're doing a
Oh,
red spell, the adventure is blue mana, so that you have to put it in like a 2-color deck.
That could be it. They could make it
Di-
more restrictive. That would
Mhm.
actually, if they just made it more restrictive, but the same power level, I think it would still be a success.
Mhm.
yeah. Did they never not have any of those in the other one?
I can't think of any off my head that were
No, they were all monocolored.
working.
Yeah, that would be lit. Actually, I would appreciate that change.
Yeah, I think that'd be sick.
It would be
So
interesting to see if either version of the card is good enough to be played in a mono version and just ignore the other part of it.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like if there's an instant or a sorcery that's powerful enough on one of them that you're just like, I still throw up my red deck. I just want to be able to cast the creature.
Yeah.
Mm,
Hmm.
yeah, that's basically stomp. I don't know what you're talking about. I hardly ever cast the creature part of that unless I'm in a bad way.
Yeah.
That
Um,
creature's pretty good though.
yeah, I mean it
I
it
drop him all the time.
I'd have to count, but I feel like I don't cast it as much as you would think I would. Just
Mm.
because you're going in for because I it's in a prowess deck is where I play it mostly. So you're going in for other spells and stuff for your
Right?
prowess
Yeah, it probably
creatures.
doesn't really fit into prowess that well.
The stomp part does, and then if you're like really bad on board, then you would drop the
Yeah.
giant down to block and stuff. So um,
Hmm.
anyways, that's how I use it. My prediction for 2023 is that the Metal Earth set will be good, actually. And I'm not saying like power level because it's going to be
Yeah. I
the
was gonna say,
modern
please clarify. Good.
good. Because like when we first announced it in the podcast, I feel like the vibes I was given was that I'm not a fan of Middle Earth or that I'm not a fan of like Middle Earth tie-ins or stuff. I love Tolkien. I'm a huge fan of Middle Earth, and I poo-pooed it a little bit. And the more I think about it, I was like, I think that
I don't
like
know. I don't think you were with us when we went and saw the midnight release of the movies.
because I
Not a
went,
fan.
Over here saying how big of a fan you were, but I don't
I
remember you being with us.
because I was watching them with my wife. I don't know what you're talking about. Girlfriend at the time, or maybe we were married. I don't remember. Anyways,
I don't think
It's
you were
probably.
married
I
at
think
like
it was
16,
girlfriend.
man.
they came out over 3 years, man. I could have seen the
Mm.
last one married. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Huge fan, kind of poo-pooed it. I just wanted to make it clear that huge fan of Middle Earth. I think as far as handling the lore and stuff, I think that it'll be good.
I
And then the power level is going to be, modern, rotating as Horizons has been.
Yeah. I think
So
they're going to nail the flavor. I think that you're going to be surprised at
yeah, that's what
how
I'm saying.
well they nail that flavor of that set because if there's one thing that Wizards can nail, it's flavor. Like
Yeah,
that's like the whole like Magic wouldn't be what it was if they couldn't nail the flavor of their own lore. So they can transmit that over to another lore and be fine.
I think we're gonna have a hard time picking which card we want to lick from that set. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Cyan.
It's Arwen.
It's the
Oh,
one
come
ring,
on.
man. There will be a one ring card, right?
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
there's going to be a one ring.
Is
That's
it?
right. Right? Is Arwen is the Liv Tyler character?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Arwen.
Do you just want to lick Liv Tyler? I mean, let's be honest.
Who
Um.
doesn't?
Anyways, moving on. What's your next prediction there, Ben?
I think that Wizards will attempt to correct, and I'm giving the air quotes, the release pattern of cards. Do you know, like, there's all this discourse, and they've said in the past, like, oh well, if you don't like it, don't engage with the thing. I think by the end of the year they'll make like, hey, new in 2024, we're gonna do something different. Because like I said, I think this is gonna be the year where Wizards is like starts to get kind of freaked out about all the discourse around Magic in general, and then make it correct. Whether or not I believe the release schedule of cards is too much or anything like that, I think that Wizards will. I'm not making a statement on that. What I'm saying is, I think Wizards will try to listen more to people and make some kind of correction, quote unquote.
Mm.
I have the exact opposite prediction. I think you're going to see more of the premium collector's items and the Magic as an investment type items than ever before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think they are going to flood the market with that stuff.
Oh yeah, they could.
uh, yeah, I'm with other Dave here on this one. I think that Wizards is a slow boat to turn. It's huge. It's going to go a direction, and it's going to go that direction for a year or 2 years, maybe more before they even get a chance to
So there is a
correct.
world where both me and Dave's predictions are in the same in line, meaning that they're like they lean more heavily into the collector stuff to in the re-releases of cards in order to make their money, while like laying off of like the supplemental sets ad nauseum that are like the jump starts and the um, commander supplements or
Yeah.
things like, you know what I mean? And then they spin it in a way that's like, hey, we listened to you.
Hmm.
This is what we're doing differently, but really they're not, like,
Yeah. Well, they could take the standard set jumpstart stuff and 86 it like that,
yeah,
and it wouldn't hurt their stuff because nobody likes them anyways. I haven't heard anybody say anything uh, positive about the Brothers War jumpstart or the
hmm
Dominaria jumpstart because
Um,
they're not the same as the actual jumpstart sets. They're
right.
completely different. And they could get rid of those because they're not even designing cards specifically for that, so it's not a
Yeah.
thing that wasted like effort on. So they could get rid of those, and I think people
Yep.
would see that as a positive move
Yep.
because
what I think is a potential thing that they will start to move into, because they're already kind of doing it in little ways, with like the Magic 30 collector's pack
Yeah.
and Secret Layers, but not quite. Is a limited print run type thing. Um, that you kind of see in comic books right now, where it'll be like, all right, this comic book is going to drop for ordering at this exact time. We're going to have 3,000 of them, and when they're sold, they're done.
Yeah.
There's only going to be 3,000 of them in existence.
Well, they already did that with the one secret layer, and the collector's packs for Brothers Word had numbered cards. So they're kind of, I think they already dipped their toes a little bit in that
Right,
kind of.
right. But like with those, you were getting packs. I think they're going to move into just a specific card. It's going to be like, on November 17th, at 1 p.m., we're going to release 3,000 copies of uh, whatever card. We'll say the new Oko is going to drop. It's going to be a limited full art done by Seb McKinnon. There's only going to be 3,000 copies, and when they're sold, they're gone. It's just going to be that card though.
Yeah.
Like you're going to know exactly what you're getting.
Yeah.
I guess the Secret Lair one that they did is like that.
Yeah. You didn't have to know exactly what you're getting if you didn't want to. The
Yeah.
30 cards for what was it?
Right.
It was like the alternate arts for like. But yeah, that would be actually preferred to, because the thing
Yeah.
that gets me about the card release set is not the collector stuff. That's not what annoys me. It's the command. Like, I'm not shitting on a commander, but like if I open a pack of standard cards and I get a card that should be another card as a commander card, and I can't use it in standard, that's kind of like that rubs me the wrong way. And they want commander people to buy those products, and that's why they're doing that. So like, why make commander products? And also, if you don't have to engage with the product if you don't want to, like their messages, why is there commander stuff in standard, and then they make also commander
Yeah.
stuff like sets, and then also they make commander decks in each standard set, and also and I think that's more where you'll see the shift.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like I pointed that out on Twitter last week. It's like they're like, if you don't like this, don't engage with it. But also, they seem to not want to not cram Commander into everything. And I like Commander, but like why can't there just be like Commander sets and then regular play sets. Like, why is
Yeah.
Commander in standard? I agree with you on that. It doesn't make sense to me. And, you know, hopefully that kind of stuff changes. Now, I don't mind them obviously designing legendary creatures in sets for, like they do, so that it feeds into Commander. But making Commander cards and then sticking them in sets is a little weird to me.
Yeah. All right. I think Dave, you gave your prediction. It was the premium items that is like opposite of mine. Or
Well,
whatever.
I have one more than everyone else. So I
Oh,
was just
okay.
gonna-
Yeah.
Yeah, still do one.
You should do the one on the bottom next because that kind of ties into what I was going to talk about.
Okay. I predict that Jace will make some kind of sacrifice this year. Either his life or his spark. I'm not sure which one,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like they've been building up to Jace is not going to be around much longer.
Yeah.
Not Jace. No.
They're trying.
Yeah,
to
I feel like it's been very similar to the lead into what happened to Gideon, where like he just hasn't been around much except in like a leadership role. Like he just pops in every once in a while. It's like, hey guys, don't forget about me. I have a plan.
I'm not gonna be real heavy because I don't want you to like really hate the story when I do this. So, but I'm gonna just remind you I'm here so that when I pop in and
Yeah,
make the sacrifice,
Doing a
it's
little
powerful,
Tarkovsky
but not rage quit inducing. That's funny.
yeah, because I mean, at the time Gideon had did it, he had been pretty much all but been replaced as the White Planeswalker.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like he was popping in every once in a while, but you know.
I like that.
And now like Jace has been more or less replaced with Teferi.
Yeah.
The better blue planeswalker, in my humble opinion. Okay, we're gonna move into mine because it kind of dovetails into yours, and that my prediction is that Phyrexia will lose this year, but it will not be completely destroyed. And my running theory is that Jace will be completed, but that'll be part of his master plan. So he'll be in the inside as kind of like a double agent, if you will, and then brings about a Phyrexian civil war or some such stuff, so as that Phyrexia kind of crumbles from the inside and isn't a superpower in the multiverse like it is now. And then you'll have Phyrexian characters or planeswalkers that pop in every once in a while so that they can keep the Phyrexians around, but they're not on a mission to complete the entire multiverse like they have been.
So Jace helps demilitarize Phyrexia.
Yes.
And then
Said it.
Phyrexia will become the good guys.
It's. Oh no. All
I don't
that
know about
glistening
that.
oil all over everything. So
So when I say good guys, I guess I don't necessarily mean like they will become good by nature,
mhm.
but I think they would become allies in whatever the next big
Yes.
stupid magic someone
Threat,
is taking over
yeah.
the world and going to destroy it thing is.
Yeah, we need to team up.
The next team up threat, there'll be a player in it.
Does
as an ally.
Phyrexia have a hive mind? I know it's not exactly like a hive mind, but like, can like the big people like tap in mind like through mind stuff?
I don't know. I don't think so. I've never.
So
gotten
in the Tezzeret side story, they kind of touch on that a little bit. They do not have a hive mind, but areas in Phyrexia are pretty much constantly monitored by Elish Norn. So if you do something, she knows about it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's might have been like, I knew it wasn't like a full on Borg style hive mind or anything, but I thought there was something about like omnipotence within, like Yawgmoth could something about all of Phyrexia like
Yeah.
could sense it or something.
Because
Will
there
they-
is a moment in the Tezzeret story where he's like, specifically, I need to act while I am in this area because I know Elish Norn cannot see in this area.
Okay.
Interesting. So
I was trying to say that without giving too many spoilers since you guys haven't read it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to get on that.
All right. Cool.
Your last.
My
prediction?
last one is the quality of life improvements as we want them on MTGO will not be implemented by the end of the year.
So these are the things that Daybreak had pitched when they
Yeah.
took over the publishing of MTGO. So that's Battlefield automation and stuff like that.
Yeah, the auto tapping, the
Mhm.
all the quality of life stuff. Basically the arena.
The arena shtick.
Yeah. I don't think that they're going to get it in, and
Mm-hmm.
people are like, why don't you just do it? But like coding's a hard thing, man.
Yeah, that's a big
And
that's a
it,
pill.
and on top of that,
And
they're
it,
bolting it onto an existing framework
I
that's like,
I say it's even harder to do when you build it into an old framework
yep,
that
Mhm.
was not designed to do these things from the beginning.
yep.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's a safe prediction, to be
So,
honest.
yeah, I'm going to temper some expectations, like
Yeah.
people aren't, I'm not mad by the end of the year. I'm already saying it right now. I'm not expecting this.
Yeah. I bet if it happens, I'll be stoked about it for
Yeah.
sure. For sure. Okay, other Dave, your last prediction?
Uh, my other prediction is that one set will have a large group of planeswalkers in it, similar to War of the Spark.
A
Uh,
Avengers team up, if you will.
yeah, Mark Rosewater has repeatedly talked about how much of a success it was to have all of the planeswalkers in War of the Spark, and how well War of the Spark was received, and how well it did as a product for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they are looking for an excuse to bring all the planeswalkers in again
Mm-hmm.
in a War of the Spark style fashion.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
People constantly talk about how they missed the days that like Super Friends and Planeswalker decks were a thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
I really like the design of the uncommon planeswalkers from War of the Spark too. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind those coming back, which
yeah,
they certainly would have to do if they have a bunch of planeswalkers.
every once in a while, you don't want to have
Yeah.
that all
Well,
the
yeah.
time.
I
And,
mean,
and I think it's been, what is it? It's something like there's been 3 planeswalkers in each set in the last year and a half, 2 years or something. Something similar
I
to that.
think that's their average quota that they like to stick in a set. I believe is that they shoot for like 3
Yeah.
in general.
So I feel like the going trend of Wizards is once they do something for a little bit, they do a set that switches it all up, So,
Which I guess they're kind of already doing with All is One, since they've already announced 10 Planeswalkers for it.
oh yeah.
No,
Are they
But-
going to super friends it though? We don't know.
Right.
Hard to
Because half of them are going to be completed.
Yeah. Well, maybe they super friends it against Dominaria.
Hulk versus Wolverine scenario where you want to see
But-
your favorite planeswalkers duke it out.
Maybe that's
But
a
they
Martian
also
Machines
have-
thing, you're talking about.
They also have this new Planeswalker that they've introduced in the comics, who's not in the cards yet,
Mm.
whose specific ability seems to be to channel energy to make other things more powerful. So in the comic book, she was strapped to a machine and forced to channel energy into Tezzeret and make him more powerful.
That sounds like a Tezzeret douche thing to do.
Yeah.
Such a
And so like with a planeswalker out there whose specific ability seems to be making other planeswalkers more powerful, it only makes sense to bring in a bunch of planeswalkers and make Super Friends viable again.
Yeah. Cool prediction.
Yeah, I like it. I think that's probably a pretty safe one as well, actually. Okay, here's my hottest take. I don't know if it's a safe one or not, but
Oh,
let you
one
guys-
other thing. Sorry,
Okay.
I meant to
No
mention this and I did not. I think Tezzeret will be the bad guy somehow.
but, yeah.
Oh, the big bad. Yeah. He's like, you guys wouldn't complete me. I'm so mad.
Guys,
Well, he is very mad at again. I haven't read the story yet.
yeah, he was
Um,
salty about it a little bit at the end of Kamigawa, so I would be surprised if he's even more salty about it at this point.
Because basically, I think this is already covered in what you read. Is he's working for them with the purpose of getting a Darksteel body to replace the current body he has.
Oh, yeah, that'd be sick. An indestructible planeswalker would be kind of cool, actually.
Yeah.
Okay. Ready to move on to the last prediction of the show?
Sure.
See, I tricked you because I wanted to be the last prediction of the show. That's why I
Oh, so
switched it.
yeah, you're like, like, I don't want to take over the show. I don't want to be selfish, but really you are.
With
Yeah.
the most obvious take of all of them.
Oh, you think that this is the most obvious take of them all? This is what I
I
wanted.
do. 100%. I think it's the most obvious take.
The wilds of Eldraine set will be very underpowered. I think they're going to be afraid to make the same mistakes they did in the Eldraine set.
Throne.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Throne. So they're gonna play it super safe, and this is gonna be like Crimson Vow levels of.
Ugh.
That's
Yeah,
my
no, I agree with that.
Please
Okay.
don't make it Crimson Vow levels of. No. Crimson Vow is
Yeah.
fine. It's just not.
It was just.
You have to have bad sets to have good sets.
That's
Yeah,
true. You do.
I said it was mad. I didn't say it's bad. It's just like, you get up every once in a while and you eat a bowl of oatmeal for breakfast because you can't eat steak and eggs every day.
Yeah, I think
Wait,
they're.
what?
You
You
can't.
can't eat steak and eggs every day?
I mean, you can, but I don't know if you're gonna live as long as
Oh,
somebody.
well, I'm
who
not
eats
worried about how
oatmeal
long I
every
live. Okay, we're good. Continue on.
Well,
Yeah,
Go
they.
ahead.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, they're probably not gonna do it intentionally, like intentionally underpower it, but they're gonna intentionally try to not make it so overpowered that they overcorrect, and that makes a lot of sense. It would be cool if they were just like, "Fuck it, Eldraine was powerful. Let's just make every time we return to Eldraine super powerful, so that people get excited about it."
Let's do some dumb shit we haven't done since there's a saga.
Yeah,
We're going to reprint Oko again.
because I'm actually surprised at how like they did an amazing thing with Brothers War. I think that they made an artifact set that wasn't overpowered. It is like the right level of power, and they didn't rely on like colored artifacts or these like modern conventions in designing that make it, the traditional ways they would underpower something.
I feel like that's how they made the set underpowered, though, is like all of the really powerful cards are color dependent.
Well,
There's no real powerful colorless card.
Right. So the only, yeah, that's true.
Because you're going to name a colorless card that requires you to spend green or white in order to get the extra benefits out of it. Yes, technically it's a colorless card, but you need colored mana to make it shine.
Yeah, that's fair. But they did it. That's what I guess I'm applauding. Like, hey, they because I don't like colored artifacts. I really don't. And the prototyping is fine. I don't mind the prototyping. I think there's only one. The Temporal Anchor is the only actual colored artifact. I think that's right, but it's blue. Mark Rosewater said on his podcast, which I thought was actually cool, they did that intentionally because the old stuff was all colorless, but the only thing that actually existed in the future is the one thing that's colored. The Temporal Anchor,
Yeah.
Nice. So anyway, yeah.
Cool,
I think they're going to make some corrections to Eldraine that'll underpower it, and it won't be.
Also, too, like, I mean, when you're defining underpowered, are you like you can define underpowered just as saying it's underpowered compared to the last Throne of Eldraine, which had 3 cards get banned in the first month?
Yeah.
Well, I very specifically said that it was Crimson Vow levels of meh.
Yeah. So you think it's going to be as bad as Crimson Vow?
I think it's going to be around there. Maybe it'll be a little better than Crimson Vow, but I think it's going to be a mediocre set that nobody talks about in a year. I think that's
going to be the case too.
Yeah.
I hope it's not, because I think Eldraine is an interesting universe that they have made. And I think if it has that huge of a swing, if it goes from being that powerful to being that meh, you will never go back to it.
Yeah, probably. The speaking of Eldraine being interesting, me and Ben were talking the other day on stream about how the Ginger Brew is maybe the most flavorful card
in existence. Yep.
Magic. Just because.
Why?
Why? Because it has haste and it has the evasion mechanic can't be blocked.
Except by creatures with haste.
Yeah, if you pay the one generic.
You know,
Mm.
can't catch me. I'm the
Okay.
gingerbread man. You know, so
Yeah.
unless you have haste, you can't catch him.
and
Right.
it's a food, so it counts as a
Yeah, you
food.
can pay money and then gain 3 life, or you can pay mana and sacrifice and gain 3 life, like you ate the cookie.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
there's
this.
a lot of really good flavors
Super
of
good.
cards in that set, specifically because of the way that set is built.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
fairy tale aspect. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, bacon to a pie is great.
That is
Kitty
good.
Oven itself is really great too.
Yeah.
And how the Kitty Oven and the Trail of Crumbs, it's all like the Hansel and Gretel. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd
It's a
say
story.
the Goldilocks one is
Yeah, the
really
Goldilocks.
good.
they have like
Um,
whole cloth like fairy tale stuff in there.
Yep.
They're
yeah,
cool.
the way that one is constructed lends itself very much to creating great flavorful cards.
Yeah, it's almost as if a planeswalker like planeswalked over to Eldraine, saw what was happening over there, and they'd come back here and write a whole bunch of books. Maybe what was the guy Grimm?
Yep.
Fairy.
Grim
Maybe
is
he was
Oko.
yeah. He's a planeswalker, come over here, made a lot of money.
Yep.
Off
Living the
writing.
high life. Yeah, so that's the last prediction for our prediction show. I think we should probably wrap it up.
Yep.
I also would like to predict that Ben will win a 1K tournament.
Ah, so you're hedging your bets, huh? You're predicting on both sides.
How am I hedging my bet?
Didn't you say that Ben's not going to be good at Magic, or something?
No,
like
he
that?
No, I said I wanted to be the opposite of Ben,
Oh.
and that you were not good at Magic.
Oh, all right. Okay, yeah, that's right.
All right. So all
But that was
bets-
not a prediction, so
Oh, I see. That was just
it's
a
not.
state
I
of
didn't
being.
hedge my bets.
I gotcha.
Gotcha. So
Well,
all the
thanks for your
predictions-
vote of confidence there. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
we like to support
Congratulations on your win
here at the Proving Grounds.
in advance.
All right. So all predictions are locked in, and I think we'll have a tally a year from now to see who got the most. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
All right. Let's close out the show. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find us, Ben?
You can find us on Twitter at MPGPod. You can find us on my personal Twitter, or me on my personal Twitter at BeNiceMPG. Where can they find you, moderator Dave?
They can find me on Twitter for the time being at Dave_MPG, and you can email us at podcast@magicprovinggrounds.com.
For the time being, is Twitter already starting to feel?
It's getting on my nerves, man. I might 86 Twitter. I don't know where I'd go to talk about Magic at that point. Hopefully, Moxfield pops out their social media thing here quick because it's.
I think you're just gonna have to find a Discord group.
Yeah, I think you need to stop engaging with internet trolls.
Maybe.
I think that's the big thing.
Yeah.
Maybe another resolution you can think about.
Yeah. Maybe I'll think of that. Maybe next year.
Actually, what you need to do, what we need to do, is just start inviting everyone to the Discord.
There you go.
Yeah, we
Let-
should set that up.
And then banning all the trolls.
Yeah, because then Dave doesn't have to interact with the trolls.
There you go.
You have people you can talk to about Magic.
Yeah. If you want a link to our Discord, email us at Magic Proving Grounds or podcast at magicprovinggrounds.com. There you go.
Yep, get it out there. All right, let's wrap this up. Cue the outro music. I have to go to the bathroom real quick, so I'm gonna take off.
All right. See you guys next week.
See us out.
Later.